Tell everybody on YouTube how much that remote costs. Morning. So this morning we are still rained out. We didn't really get a lot of rain yesterday, it just didn't dry out any at all, but plenty of stuff to do. BJ and I, we are going to drive through a field that BJ lost a point off the strip till bar in. Make sure I don't hit anything here. Anyways, we're gonna drive through there, try to find that point. We'd rather find it, you know, now than with a combine. So we're gonna hop in the rock store and do that. Other tasks. Finish up the corn planter, haul some more corn. Probably ought to mow my jungle. Can you tell where the dogs poop? This goes against everything I believe in. Driving through a worked field. But hey, we're straddling the rows. Somewhere in here that point fell off. A lot of stuff buried in the ground around here, like building foundations, roads. So here's the one that was dragging up. And it doesn't look like it was in the ground right here. Found it. So just for the record, YouTube, in my defense, this row is hidden by the tongue. You can see right there is the caddy tracks of the cart. This row is kind of obscured by the tongue. I'm always looking and watching, but I somehow did not see this or feel it. If only we had a bag full of ag cams we could put on that thing so you could see it. Wouldn't help. See that? We're just putting iron back in the soil. Right. There's a foot off of it someplace too. Yeah, see, I didn't even know this culvert was here. Don't know why it was here. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff buried around here like this that we never found, no telling. Got a flag, so we'll put a flag out and maybe dig this thing up sometime, see what it is. Actually, I can turn on the ag leader in here and flag it too. That's probably. Dad, if you watch this video, don't hit this with the planter. Yeah, he'll be going 10 miles an hour, won't even know it's there. So since I've still got the ag leader mounted in here, I'm able just to go into here. I'm gonna put a flag for, I don't know what we're gonna call this, hole, tile, or rock, or all three, but this way, whenever we plant it or do anything with an ag leader, we'll know it's there. This will be here in the combine, this will be there in the planter tractor, it'll be in the strip till tractor. When we forget to take this piece of tile out, it'll still be there the next time he strip tills it. We're going to call it, let's just see what we got in here. Ooh. Now, when we move, we should see that. There it is. Heading over to the other farm, the old grain bins. That's where the strip till bar is. Got a couple guys from Unverforth down. There's nothing really wrong with the bar. They're just kind of checking it over while we're rained out. I think we're gonna put some new points on it. The points that were on it when I got here, they were not brand new, so they had several acres on them, but yeah, we're gonna swap those out. And then I don't know what we're gonna do after that. Probably work on the planter at some point, but maybe not, we'll see. I mean, how important is a corn planter anyways? It's still clean. Yeah, probably not for much longer. Yeah. Sure is pretty. It is pretty for now. There's a lot of man hours there. It took way longer to rebuild the planter than it will to use the planter, I bet. Could have bought a new one for a whole lot less time. Not less money. So that's one thing I get often when we're working on the planter is, wouldn't it have been more cost efficient just to buy a new planter? No. Get a planter with these kind of options from the factory would have been around $300,000 to $350,000, and we have less than a third of that in this, so not even close. Time consuming? Yes. Pain in the knuckles? Yes. Saving a lot of money? Oh yes. Is it done? Not yet. So here's our Yetter compressor we gotta get mounted up there. Heck yeah. Someone knows how to get some free advertising. So these are the new low disturbance row cleaners. If you look, they have a smooth edge all the way down through there. I'm joking, those are just safety bands so you don't cut your hand. My attempt at humor. Epic fail. Getting serious. We're studying. It's a lot of hose. Oh, I like the pretty hose better. So getting our air lines hooked up, this part's actually pretty simple. You just run them right along. We're just running them right along the top with our seed hoses, our seed delivery hoses. Right or wrong, that's how we're doing them. Now we gotta get our blue line. One is a down pressure and one is an up pressure line. That's why they're color coded. Now that we've got the main line run in, we use these tap tees, or whatever you want to call them. I'm calling them tap tees. More like a little shark bite fittings, what it looks like. We're gonna cut it, stick these tees in there, and then we'll run a line down to each unit.
Wait a minute, is that where you want to cut?
Yeah. So now we just have to do that on the next 9 units. Then we run this to the unit. I guess I should explain what the purpose of these row cleaners is and what these blue lines and black lines have to do with it. So these are the row cleaners. Like I said, this is just a safety band. Here's what they look like without that safety band. So these will spin around and move any kind of debris or trash out of the way. So we have a clean furrow to plant into, and we get better seed to soil contact. It makes us close better. Basically just helps all the way around, especially in a strict no-till environment. These little airbags right here, that's how we're going to adjust this from the cab up and down depending on what the ground conditions are like. Our old row cleaners we had to pin, and to be real honest, we would usually set those once during the year, and unless it was real bad, that's where they would stay. Or Dad has even admitted that sometimes he would just cheat the hitch by picking that 3-point hitch up or down, which is a terrible idea. So this is going to be a big improvement. Should help with our stand, should just be all around better system. But that's why we're running these air lines and why we have to mount this air compressor somewhere on the back here. Now I don't think we're gonna get done today. I think we'll get all of our air lines installed today and then figure out where we've got to mount our compressor. Alright, so BJ ended up feeling a little puny, and he headed home. Dad and I feel fine, but we're supposed to go see Mom here in about 2 hours. Got a visit scheduled, so we're gonna start putting stuff up. I'm gonna try to mow the yard first. Kind of reached the point where we need to take this planter back to the house because we got to fab up a bracket to hold that air compressor on the back here. So nobody ended up buying the forklift, and it's actually pretty useful, but I wouldn't mind having a diesel forklift. So if anyone's still interested, $5,500, has 5,600-ish hours on it. Has side shift, and yeah, I don't know what year it is. That was the main questions I got. We still need to get this bean planter hooked up sometime. So if you're new to the channel, we have a Case 2140 40-foot splitter bean planter, and we're gonna pull it with the other Challenger back there. Had some issues with the openers last year, but other than that, it ran pretty good, so it should be pretty well ready to go. So do we just call you when our planter wears out too?
Yeah, that's the way that works. Yeah, we come for everything.
Yeah, look at the difference between them old ones and the new ones. So, you say this one had about 1,000 acres on it when it got here?
Before it got here, yeah. So
that should pull a little harder now.
Yeah, it should.
Well, it's definitely time to mow the yard. The Cub Cadets broke down, so we're using the Sassy Massey. My first time mowing with it. It's already not as comfortable, but hey, we'll make it work. Where's the key? I bet it's in Dad's secret hiding spot. Very sneaky. Very sneaky.
Complete here pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to mow the front yard. Morning. We mowed. It cut, but that's about all you can say. Definitely miss my Cub Cadet over that Massey. It did okay, but Cub Cadet's way faster. Like, we didn't finish the yard. It got dark. Anyways, first thing this morning, heading over to the grain bins where we're gonna build the house. I got the county engineer coming out. Since one of the things that's holding this project up, at least for the last 30 days, he's actually calling right now. Anyways, just met the engineer. If you didn't know, me and my wife, we were building a house back here in the woods. That whole project's going to be on my other channel. Just search After Hours or Brian Brown and you'll find it. But anyways, I had to meet with them because our driveway's long. That's right, our driveway's long. So in our county, there is ordinance or zoning in place to where if you're building a driveway, or if you're building a house more than so many feet off the road, you have to get a variance and explain your situation. The way it was explained to me, it was so to help preserve farmland, to keep people from buying large tracts of land and developing. More or less just technicality, but it ended up making us wait an extra 30 days. There's Squishy's little buddy. It's a boy. It's not a girl. Hauling some more corn. So for the last 3 months, we've basically been hauling. We're finally almost out of this contract. This is one of those good contracts. About $3.80. That was sarcasm, folks, on the good part. That high dollar corn, ain't it?
Yeah.
So Dad's pretty fired up. We just got the bill for the John Deere remotes that we had replaced. It was a lot, $10,000. Fixed 2 remotes. I want to put Dad on camera, but I didn't want to edit that many beeps out. So BJ is driving. He is taking the automatic. We'll go fire up the black truck and get it moving. Larry's got the day off for the day, so it's just me and BJ hauling, which the way it's raining and misting and crap, might as well. Ain't a whole lot else to do. Actually, there's a lot else to do, but I prefer to do it when it's not raining. One thing about all this rain, the old black truck looks almost like it got cleaned. Of course. But we can check the oil while it's charging, do all that good stuff. Should have done that before I tried to start it, in all honesty. Truck's been sitting a couple weeks. Definitely should have done that before I tried to start it. We're good. Now it's quit raining, Dad's going to take the corn planter over home. Start looking at how we're going to do that bracket on the back of it. Lunchtime.
What was it? That's just plain.
Supposed to be deluxes.
Well, we got somebody else. There's that Japanese food there.
That's mine.
Oh, okay. Here's yours, deluxe, probably.
They're supposed to be both be the same. Not near as many lines, so everybody must have their contracts full, or everybody's out of grain. It was definitely not this empty all last 3 months. So you see that says 15.1? Good old Cargill will dock us 7 bushels off of this load. But then we'll turn around and sell for $5 a bushel. So there's a nice quick 35 bucks they just made on this load for 0.1% moisture. This corn will still get dumped in the dry dump, and they will load it on that train with never drying it. But they're going to charge us 7 bushels for drying it. For shrinkage that will never get dried. That grinds my gears. If you ever want to get Dad fired up, just ask him about Cargill. Now, just to be clear, we have no problem with the people that work at Cargill locally, but that seems ridiculous. Okay, so it is dry enough now that I can get back to making some boundaries. So if you didn't know, I'm using my rock saw and my ag leader system to create field boundaries and AB lines for the strip till bar and the planter. That way they're on the same pattern. So as goofy as this sounds, I'm going to stop hauling corn to go do that, because it is extremely important, especially for the strip tilling aspect, and it really helps us be more efficient. Now I want to get this done so I can get all the guidance equipment out of my rock saw, and I'm getting tired of having to go map fields right before BJ goes and strip tills them. Alright, just get to the field here, get our field pulled up. I already pulled it up, so that's good. Change our pattern to identical curve, exit that because we're going to go in and remove this pattern. This is an old pattern from the combine. Now new pattern, check. Go over here to boundaries. We're gonna add one. We gotta put a 2.8 foot offset. That's because our antenna is 2.8 feet from the edge of the rock sore. So this will make sure that our boundary is at the edge of that tire track, which is what we want. You can see by doing this, like Dad was off of this field edge of good, 4 feet, 5 feet. Now some of that was because we had a flood in here last year, and he might not have been able to get over here due to flood debris, but not always the case. Sometimes you just can't tell how close you are to the woods from the tractor. So this is going to help alleviate that. There's some corn stalks from last year's flood. Usually what we do, just push them up into the bank, just so we can get into the field. Like that flood last year happened in season. This field was already planted. Hopefully that doesn't happen again, but the river is right there. I don't think this got planted right here last year, but this is part of the field. We got it. Just got done mapping the farm that we were at. Come out here, see what kind of progress Dad's made. He's been fabbing up some kind of bracket. But then I'm going to my son's baseball game, so see what Dad's status is. Hey guys, I didn't go over much details on the fix we had to do to the John Deere, but basically, from the moment I used that tractor, the very first time we hooked it to the Turbo Max, our #1 remote didn't work. It's like, well, that's very inconvenient, but we'll just not use it for now. I wanted to get that thing working, so when I called the service guy, he came out, determined that, long story short, we ended up needing a whole new remote, like the whole new block on the back of the tractor. It's the #1 remote. So we got that coming, ended up having to replace a solenoid or something like that in the #2 remote because it quit working in the meantime. And yeah, total bill ended up being like $9,300. So that's the story. Had Dad pretty fired up, but so far now the tractor's working fine. Just very high service bill. If it costs that much to fix 2 remote blocks, I'd hate to have to rebuild the engine in one of those tractors. I think I'm gonna paint the TV remote green and then try to charge someone $5 grand for it.